Hello, I'm Joe. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make a pattern for a structured handbag. First, you'll need a tracing wheel, a knife, and a pencil, a straight ruler, and a piece of cardstock or pattern paper that is 10 inches wide by 21 inches long. Now we're going to find the center and score it. So the center would be 5 inches in from the long edge. After scoring, you will fold your pattern paper in half. So this is the design of the handbag. It will have 5 sections: the flap, the top, the back, the bottom, and the front. And it will be 20 inches long by 10 inches wide. You will also make a side panel and a slip pocket. So let's start. So we fold our pattern paper in half, and now we're going to mark the sections. So the first section is 3 inches down from the top, and that will be the flap. From that point, you will mark another 3 inches, and that will be the top of the bag. Now the back of the bag is going to be 5 inches down from that mark, and then 4 inches down, that will be the bottom. And what we'll be having left is 5 inches for the front of the bag. So that adds up to 20 inches in length. We already know that the width is 10 inches. Now let's score the sections of the bag onto our pattern paper. If you have an awl, that would be ideal, but I'm using a seam ripper. You need something with a sharp point to mark the areas where you're going to be drawing the lines. So I'm going to continue to make holes, and then I'm going to open up the paper and use my tracing wheel to score. You can use an awl if you have one. So here I'm using my seam ripper to make sure that my ruler is lined up with the holes that I made before, and now I'm using the tracing wheel to score. And I will continue this to mark all the sections along the pattern paper. Here I'm marking all the sections so that you can see what area I am working on. Now we're going to add the purse feet markings to the bottom section. So fold over your paper in half, and you will measure in from the long edge 1 inch and down from the fold line, the bottom fold lines, 3/4 of an inch. And use your pointy tool and put the 2 holes. Then we will open and circle those holes and label it purse feet. And so this will give you the option to add purse feet if you would like to do so. Please guys, if you're receiving value from this tutorial, please hit the like button so that our channel can grow. So here I am marking the spots where I put the holes, and that will be the area for your purse feet. Make sure to label it as well. Now I'm going to mark the area where you will place your closure, whether it's a twist lock or magnetic snap. So in the center, crease, you will mark from the top down 5/8 of an inch. Put a mark, and that is where you will add your closure. Now you will fold up your front section, and your flap you will fold it down and match the center crease so that we can mark the bottom of your closure. Now let's shape the front of the pattern. Fold your pattern in half again, and from the center or the fold you will measure in 3 7/8 of an inch and put a mark, or use your awl and put a hole at that spot. Now we're gonna line up our ruler, and we're gonna cut up to the front fold line. The front and the back of the bag has to match in shape, so we're going to cut away the same amount from the back section of the bag. So you will cut away again 3 7/8 of an inch from the back top fold line to the bottom fold line. Remember, the bottom section will remain 4 inches wide, so you don't want to take away anything from the bottom section, just the back. I hope it's clear enough for you to understand what I am trying to show you. Okay, so this is what you should have at this stage. Our pattern is coming together nicely. So now we're going to match up the center crease again with the flap, the front center crease with a flap center crease, and we're going to mark the side because the flap needs to coordinate with the shape of the front of the bag. So just hold it, line it up together, and use a pencil and mark along the side, and then you will fold it again and cut that away. You will cut up to the top fold line. Do not cut all the way through. Stop at the fold line. And then you will take your ruler and line it up with where you cut at the fold line to the next section, to the top section, and then you will continue and cut away. Okay, here we are. So this is the basic shape. You can stop here if you like, or you can continue to shape the flap. So I want a kind of a symmetrical shape at the flap, so I'm going to continue. Measure in from the tip, from the fold line, sorry. We will measure in 1 inch and put a mark. That's from the center fold line. Now from the flap fold line, you will measure up 1 inch. You will join these 2 points with your ruler and cut away the excess. And here we will have the shape of our flap. And here you go. You've created your structured handbag pattern. Now we're not finished here. We still have a little bit more work to do. Move a 1/4 inch from the front section of our bag just to make room for the binding, because we're going to use webbing to bind our layers together when we're making our bag, and we don't want the webbing to push the flap up and misshape the bag, so we're going to cut away a 1/4 inch to make room for that. The webbing will make up for this 1/4 inch. So the length will now be 19 inches and 3/4. So all that is left to do now is notch our pattern. You will fold it in half and notch the center marks, so that when you're putting your layers together, you will use this notch to line up your pattern pieces evenly. So here I'm also going to mark the area where you're going to put your handle. Now you can use a metal handle, or you can make a fabric handle for your bag. So this is in the top section, which is 3 inches wide. Half of 3 inches is 1.5 inch. So you will mark that and draw a line through as a reminder of where you're going to place your handle. If you're using a metal handle, make sure that it's about 6 inches to 6.25 inches wide, so that it will fit within the space at the top of the bag. So you can also take into consideration the width of your handle when you're preparing your pattern, so that it will fit. Now if you're making a fabric handle, you don't have to worry about that, because you can just make your handle to suit the space. So we're going to label our pattern. We marked where we will place our handle. Now we're gonna mark the pieces that we're going to have to cut to make this bag. So you cut 1 exterior fabric, 1 lining fabric, a foam, and 1 interfacing. I usually use heavy interfacing. I use 2 pieces, 1 for the lining and 1 for the exterior, depending on the type of material that I'm using. You can use upholstery fabric to make this bag. Also remember to name your bag. So you can call it Sally, Lily, whatever name you want to name it. Make sure you name your bag and your pieces so you know exactly what you're working with and so that you don't lose your pattern pieces. Now we're going to work on the side panel of our bag. We're going to make the top 2 3/4 inches wide. The bottom will be 3 3/4 inches wide, and the height will be 4 7/8 of an inch. I've removed a 1/4 inch from the top and the bottom so that to accommodate the webbing or the binding, and I've removed 1/8 from the height. So find the center. I'm using it and I fold it in half so that it's now 2 inches wide. Mark the center and score. Now I'm going to add the measurements that I just called out for you. If you need to, you can pause the video where I showed you the side panel so that you can add in the markings, or maybe I'll add some text on the screen so that you will remember what I mean, what I'm talking about. So this is the general shape of your side panel. The bottom is a bit wider than the top. So we're going to label our side panel. Make sure you name it, whatever name you decide, and label how many pieces you will need to cut. So for this one, you will need 2 side panels, so you will cut 2 of each piece. So it will be 2 exterior, 2 lining, 2 foam, 2 interfacing. Score your side panel pieces in the center as well to help with lining up your fabrics when you're going to adhere the layers together. So after this, one more thing we have to do is to make the pocket, the slip pocket. The slip pocket will be 6 1/4 inches by 4 inches in height. And this is just a regular rectangle, so you can just cut this out if you want, or you can just add the measurement when you're cutting your fabric. And you will cut 1 piece of the lining to make your pocket. So there you have it. Your structured handbag is now complete. You've made your pattern, your self-made pattern. I hope this tutorial was easy for you to follow along. If you have any follow-up questions, please don't be afraid to ask for them. Ask your questions in the comment section below. Please make sure to watch my tutorial showing you how to put this bag together. Thank you for watching, and I hope you consider subscribing to my channel for more great content.